I had an electric wheelchair. Trying to get it from this seat where we're sitting to 10, 15 feet away was so draining.
Wow.
And all I'm doing is moving my arm. And
Wow.
I'm talking about I was exhausted.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Who Can Relate. Today with me is someone who has inspired me on so many different levels, and I know he's going to do the same for you. Mr. Troy Brown, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. I'm excited.
I'm super excited too, man. I usually have my pre-calls like a day or two before the episodes, and ours was like a week.
Yeah.
So I was driving, so I couldn't I usually take notes. I'm like super prepared, and I was like, remember this by the time you get home, man. And so I did. I jotted it all down and had the structure rolling. But
I'm going off the top of the dome.
Cool. So let's start with how we know each other first and foremost. As your fiance walked in, and she's like, I don't even know, right?
I don't even know you guys.
Yeah. So we met at Sports Rehab LA. Shout out to them. I was there initially for my knee surgery recovery, and then we'll get into why you were there as well. And it's one of those things where, we'd see each other. We kind of randomly had the same schedule to go there. And, one thing led to another. We started talking, following each other on IG.
Yes, sir.
Both our significant others are named Shay. It was like perfect. But yeah, man, where are you from? I don't even know if I know this.
Born and raised Los Angeles, man.
Okay.
What
part?
To college. I was born and raised in Ladera Heights.
Okay.
Went to Crossroads High School, Santa Monica.
Cool.
And then I went to college in Atlanta. I went to Morehouse College.
Oh, dope. Okay.
Yeah. So got away, got that experience, away from home.
Yeah.
Moved back here.
Okay.
And started going to law school and working for a sports agent. I was going to be a basketball sports agent.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, man.
Okay, cool.
That's my thing.
Dope. Okay. Yeah, and again, so you're recently engaged. We'll talk about all that.
Exciting.
The video's dope. Has it hit you yet?
She's making wife decisions.
Already.
I
love it, man. But look, as I said earlier, one of the main things I think about when I see you or hear about you is the word inspiration, right? And as we'll get into how that became about for your life, right? Little did you know.
Little did I know.
Little did you know. Can you take us back to the fateful day 12 years ago now?
12 years ago.
In July, right?
7/20/08.
7/20/08. Take us through that day or night. More specific.
Sure. The story goes, as I've been told, that day, regular Saturday, I think it was, going to the barber shop. At that time, I was a club promoter. So I was in law school, sports agent. Like, man, let me make some extra money club promoting.
Yeah.
And apparently, so I would always leave the club a little early, 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And the story goes, across the street, got to the middle. So it's a two-lane street, so one way each way. Got to the middle, he stopped for another car to pass in front of me.
Yeah.
From right to left, and I guess a car came from my left to my right and hit me in the street. And
so a car hit you in the street. How fast was it going?
45.
45?
40 or 45, yeah, one of them.
I know you say you don't remember. Did someone tell you they hit you from the side, dead on? Did you see it coming? Or I guess you can't remember.
I don't remember anything. I don't remember I don't remember anything,
Yeah.
So knowing myself, I probably didn't see it coming. I don't drink, so it's not like I was drunk or anything like that.
Sure.
I think that, so apparently they ran the light at Ivar in Hollywood.
Okay.
So if you're running the light, you're probably speeding through it.
Yeah.
And there's probably, people in the street and too much time for me not enough time for me to react.
Sure.
There is a video of it, obviously for legal reasons.
Yeah.
It was my dad saw it. My dad's my lawyer.
Okay.
My dad, and so,
yeah.
But I've never seen it. I've never wanted to see it.
Yeah, no, of course.
So,
trauma.
Yeah, man. Randomly when you're first injured, you try to put the pieces together.
Yeah.
But then after a while, I do think to myself, like, man, Sure, why didn't you jump out the way? And
Sure.
obviously, well, you must not have had time.
Well, in hindsight, right?
Right.
Here we are.
Exactly.
You know, we can easily talk about it now,
Exactly.
but in that moment, which is a second or two, maybe.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Okay. So you get hit by a car.
Mm-hmm.
You break your leg, your back, and your arm.
I broke my leg from below my knee,
Okay.
like, you know, your shin.
Yeah.
Basically, I have a rod. I think it's probably about 4 inches maybe.
Okay.
And then I broke my elbow.
Mm-hmm.
So the little elbow right there is a ball. It's fake. And then I broke my neck.
Right.
I'm C4 to C6 is my
Okay.
technical terms.
I mean, look, again, and then we'll get back into it. I want to, luckily, it wasn't any head damage. I mean,
so that was a big thing for my family. Like my family was like, "Oh, check his brain."
Right.
You know, so they actually put a monitor. You know, when you first back in the day, I had a huge patch of hair because they had a brain scan.
Sure.
You know, you I think I had a concussion. So they obviously are going to monitor, like, hey, what's really going on in there?
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
So again, I mean, that's now again, obviously a blessing.
Right.
It's always a blessing, but definitely that's the first thing I think of. You know what I mean? So you're in the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm sure God knows how many surgeries.
I mean, I've had a total of, we can count them out. My hand, because it's paralyzed, I've had it twice.
Okay.
I've had my elbow. That's 2, 3.
Okay.
Neck is 4. Shin is 5. And then I had another neck surgery to revamp it, so about 6.
6 total.
Yeah.
In a span of
probably 2 years, but
wow.
But I probably had, you know, the large. I had 3 in one night. You know, one day.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, after these surgeries one by one, what are the doctors telling you and or your family as far as, you know, what's to come long term?
What's life like, right?
Yeah.
Man, you know, that's honestly the craziest part of this, you know.
Yeah.
And thank God, I'm a believer in God. You know, my blessings, I count them. So again, honestly, story goes, depending upon who you ask my family, you know, some people say I was in a coma for 5 days. I've heard 2 weeks.
Wow.
So it's all, you know, thank God I'm not anymore. Right.
Right.
So I don't really care, to be honest.
Sure.
But, I don't remember them telling me anything until week 7. My mom.
Wow.
Yeah. Me personally. So imagine a hospital bed when you're looking and imagining standing there looking at the person in the hospital bed.
Yeah.
My mom had a sign above my head that I couldn't see.
Okay.
Obviously, it said, "No bad thoughts in here, prayers only."
Wow.
Because I saw a picture, I saw the sign, something, and I was like, you know, I put 2 and 2 together. But they said I'd never walk again.
Wow.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I actually ordered a wheelchair. My family ordered a expensive motorized wheelchair.
Sure. Per that diagnosis.
I mean, seriously, you know, you sit with people and you get tested for it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That wheelchair never
was put to
arrived.
use.
Arrived.
Oh, okay.
The order got messed up somehow. It never went through. Man, let me tell you, about 3 months, 4 months later, I was like, Mom, what about the wheelchair we ordered?
Right.
And it just
wow.
never, crazy.
And we're going to get into why that's so ironic. You know, I heard your story through some of the trainers at the gym.
Yeah.
Never with a one-on-one conversation with you. I had watched your TEDx talk, probably last year at some point. So I got bits and pieces of it all, right? You know, and of course you try to imagine, you know, what life would be like, you know what I mean? But for you, who was someone who was healthy at the time, lived a quote unquote normal life, had aspirations, had dreams, here you are now in a matter of a second, a blink of an eye.
Literally.
Your entire life not only changes in that moment, but forever. I want to ask about the mindset that you had before your accident, maybe some of the things that, you know, we all do, but you took for granted. You never would have thought would be difficult, down the road until you're 90, and you need your wife or someone to help your kids take care of you.
Right.
But what was your mindset before? Because we'll get into later,
Sure.
I'm sure what it is now.
Sure.
What was your mindset before the accident? Like who was Troy before the accident?
Sure. Yeah. I was the athlete.
Yeah.
Jock, could do anything I wanted. Everything was a sports metaphor.
Yeah.
And, you get up, you literally can do it all. I remember getting up in the morning, going to school, working out, going out, and the next day doing it over, literally popping up.
No problem.
Nothing.
I know.
No issues. And so I relied on, am I a bright guy? I like to think so.
Sure.
But I relied on my athletic ability
totally.
to get me through.
Totally.
And it's different now.
Yeah.
It's different now.
So during the, so now we get a little bit of background who you were before the accident, and then you have the accident, and now you have all these surgeries. So time wise, just kind of take me through on the timeline, when you could actually start doing physical therapy of any kind.
Sure. Well, so when you're in the hospital, probably week again. Let's say I was in there 8 weeks. I just try and keep it at that.
In the hospital.
8 weeks. Week 7 and week 8, they start doing therapy of some kind.
Okay.
Leg mobility work.
Slow process. Yeah.
I'm talking about Troy getting your wheelchair. Shout out to Dr. Hunt. Forced me to get in my wheelchair and just try to push it down the hallway.
Right.
Let me tell you, I had an electric wheelchair. Trying to get it from this seat where we're sitting to 10, 15 feet away was so draining.
Wow.
And all I'm doing is moving my arm. And I'm talking about I was exhausted. So when as I'm sure we'll talk more about the little things you take for granted.
Yeah, of course.
Literally pushing a motorized wheelchair button was draining.
Man.
It's a crazy feeling.
So let alone, as I saw in your TEDx talk, when your trainer is telling you, because I wrote down the quote, you said, okay, step right, Troy.
Right.
And because your right leg was
my right leg's good. My right leg's great.
Step right, Troy. Okay, cool. Step left, Troy. And you're like, mind to body. Hey, come on, left side of the body, left leg, move. And it wouldn't move.
Not moving.
And for how long? And how frustrating was it? I mean, let's talk about it.
Let me tell you. So I don't tell how long because I'm gonna tell you why. That's a part of. So let's go back a little.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll get into this more.
Yeah.
I remember being in the hospital and just asking God. What I said is, God, please let me get to a walker. And all I want to do is inspire. That's literally what I said. Yeah, literally what I said.
Sure.
So it's interesting we were having this conversation, right? All I want to do is inspire. And so as I've gotten to where I am now and people hearing my story and talking to me, I don't tell how long it took me because everybody's timeline is different.
Okay, sure.
And I don't want people to be discouraged if they don't.
If they try to compare.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's only natural.
Yeah, that's good.
But I will say that the process of walking again is a process.
Sure.
Right? So any recovery, right?
Yeah.
ACL.
Yeah.
Torn anything, you're going through a process. And
sure.
And I hope that we get into at some point, whether it be this time or another time.
Yeah.
The mental aspect.
Oh, we're gonna get into it.
Okay, cool.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay, cool. So
yeah,
it's one of those things where you mentally, like you're saying, you could, hey, left leg, go.
Yeah.
Right leg's good.
Yeah.
And again, this is 3 paces, right? Right, left, right, and so certain things in life you remember the feeling of.
Yeah.
Graduation, marriage, proposals, right?
Yeah.
We discussed. I remember the feeling of when that left leg moved. And it probably moved half an inch.
But still.
It
moved.
But still.
The mind connected to it.
It connected.
Man.
And so, and I think that little bit, again, however slight, is the thing that people have to remember is what will continue.
Sure.
It's not going to be these, you think you're going to go from not walking to walking.
Yeah. Or not walking to running.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
No, I thought running.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the athlete in you.
Athlete mentality.
Yeah.
These little things. And again, I listen to people like ourselves. When we talk, I listen.
Yeah.
My sister, who's a surgeon, she said, Troy, you got to count the little victories.
Yeah.
And it's the littlest things I'm so thankful for.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah,
it's a process, man.
So, I mean, because actually I wrote down little victories, we'll get into it. But, you know, the main question that I have that I think a lot of people listening would have is if you can recall what was or were, if there were more than one, what was the biggest challenge that not only did you have to endure, but that you were like, I don't know if I can ever do this again. I like the most frustrating moment or moments, if you could recall.
Yeah. Two things.
Okay.
Mentally accepting it's okay to be different.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah. Which is huge. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to go down that road. In a society where we're so quick to judge.
For sure.
And here you are, an athlete, and then all of a sudden, now you're thinking I'm in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. So that mental thought of I'm now different. I'm looked at different. I'm going to be treated different. I'm going to maybe talk to you different, whatever the case is. But for you to have to even ponder that thought is deep.
And still.
Yeah.
You know, you have to look, I'm still doing therapy to this day, and you have to think, the question is, when does it stop? Or does it? You know, what's the decision? Sure. That is a decision to make every, you know, when I obviously we're quarantined, so I Peloton.
Yeah.
When I get on the bike, like, do I want to keep doing this?
Yeah.
You know, that's the first thing. The second thing is probably, again, I can't shoot a basketball, and that eats me up. You know, that eats me up. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're hitting home for me. You know, I grew up an athlete mainly with basketball, you know, so it's like taking shopping away from a girl.
Right.
It's like taking candy away from a kid. Man. You know, it's all the same.
And I think it's the fact that it wasn't on my timeline. I didn't get to decide.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I think about. Like, I didn't get to decide when I don't want to shoot anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
It's kind of like that athlete, that old athlete.
Right.
That's still playing.
Right.
And you're like, bro, it's time to hang it up, man. And you know what I'm saying?
You know, he's waiting for his time to go.
Yeah.
When
sure.
You know, you want that choice, you know? So.
Yeah, totally. I want to talk about what you did, and more importantly, what you didn't have power or control over in the months and in the years to come. What was some of those situations, you know, if you could recall, like, what did that look like as far as,
sure,
I want to do this, but I can't. Again, throughout the years, you know, et cetera, the whole timeline of it.
The first thing, I'm a huge driver. I love driving.
Okay.
I'm a driver.
Sure.
If we go to, sure, I can fly to Vegas. I'll let you guys fly and I'll drive.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Just my time. Just for me.
Yeah.
And so obviously I couldn't drive. So I remember one of the first things I remember thinking was, even in the hospital bed, you know, when I was in the hospital, man, my right side's moving. Okay, I can drive. Right?
Yeah.
I only need a right leg and a right arm. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, basketball, obviously I missed greatly. It's the little things, you know, it's being able to, and I can speak about this in my TED talk, carry my mom's groceries.
Yeah.
You know, it really, this isn't an injury that highlights the big things, because those things, you know, they're the big things are the extras in our life that we get to do.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
That we get to do.
Yeah.
It's the little things that you can't do.
Right.
You know, so
yeah.
To little things, putting on your shoes and socks.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that frustrating parts, right? But then you got to keep trying, and then you figure it out, and so finally, hopefully, you get it done.
And part of that is what you believe you can do, right? And what you believe maybe you can't do, right? Because it's all mental. And again, we'll talk about that. But a quote for you from the author John C. Maxwell, which is per the book. You'll have to get into it. He says, "Your beliefs control everything you do." I know that that's easier said than done, especially someone in your situation who has, 12 years. It's been still a long road, right?
Battle every day.
But once you can kind of master your mindset, and more importantly, your beliefs, right? Eventually, what you believe on the inside in turn you accomplish on the outside, right?
I couldn't agree anymore.
One of the things you said in your TEDx talk was you used the word choice. And I have another quote for you that I think you're really going to enjoy. This is Jim Quick, is another author of the book Limitless. Yeah. He's known as the brain doctor. Yeah. Okay. He says, this is good, so follow me. He says, life is the C between the B and the D. B is birth, D is death, and that C in between is choice. Ooh. Life is the C between the B and the D. So while you're on earth, alive, before you die, that C, you have a choice to make. That's and good. In difficult moments in our lives, which obviously you experienced, they can either diminish us, define us, or develop us. But the beauty of it all is we ultimately get to decide that.
Man, that's good.
Hey.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
You're preaching over there.
Yeah, but it's, again, when you said choice, I was like, because that's one of my favorite quotes. And I was like, that's perfect. I didn't make sure I get it in there. But again, I really wanted to hone in on, we have the ability to make that choice. It starts with mentally and then eventually physically. Yeah. You at a certain point in time, through the surgeries, through the physical therapy, through the years, to make a choice. Yeah. Give up or don't give up. Yeah. Take me kind of through that.
Good question. First of all, the quote is, I need that somewhere.
Yeah.
So again, and this might be an extreme way of viewing it, but I think this is just the easiest way.
Sure.
It's really the choice of, if you're going to do it, then you do it. And if you don't, then you don't.
Mm.
And that this is I think that this is the first time I'm really saying this. This is such a big undertaking.
Yeah.
And I don't want to diminish that.
Yeah.
That's people hearing this, like, things like this are a big undertaking.
Sure.
That doesn't diminish anybody else's undertaking, but it is a big undertaking.
Yeah.
And so the answer is, I just choose every day. I don't choose tomorrow.
Yeah.
I just live for today, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm going to choose to do my all today. Otherwise, it's the quote of, how do you nail it one bite at a time?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so each day it's, hey, I'm going to keep going. Today's the day. Why not?
Sure.
Why not?
Sure.
And so that's what, for me breaking it down into this journey of each day, makes it so much easier than me thinking about my life with this.
Yeah. And there's another, saying by Jesse Itzler, is great entrepreneur. He says, how you do anything is how you do everything. Mm-hmm. How you do anything is how you do everything. Yeah. And it says a lot about you as a person. I'm sure even before the accident, before all the surgeries and rehab, you were a person who made choices.
I'm gonna go.
And you and maybe to the extent that you are now today, but you decided to wake up every day and live life for that. Obviously it's a hyperdrive now, because life is short, right? And you never know what can happen. But it's such a big component between the physical toughness that you've endured and will have to endure is one thing, but the mental, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, and please do, is probably harder.
It's harder.
Let's talk about it.
Look, man. So I'm thankful for everybody who's been through this with me. Yeah. When I started this, I had a team. Still have a team. Mm-hmm. I had an ex-girlfriend. She was there for me. And then, I have a new fiance. Yeah. She's there for me, right? Mm-hmm. And there's two halves of that sort of thing. But I didn't realize my mental until my fiance helped me realize, like, hey, Troy, like, there's more going on here. This is, and I think as a man, being able to stomach that, right? Yeah. And we had a conversation a little bit about it earlier. But once you realize that and you're able to stomach the emotional part and really learn to get a control of it, then I think you're free.
Sure.
I think that's, again, in the long journey, that's what's freeing me in this second half of this journey is, hey, I'm okay with my bad days.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
I'm human.
Right.
I'm going to have them.
I'm fine. And being able to say, look, this sucks. And look, man, I've done therapy for it, emotional therapy.
Sure.
And it's healthy. It's been healthy for me. It's helped me get through the things that were, I'm a foodie.
Yeah. Okay.
I love to go out to restaurants. We're gonna go. Trust me, I'm gonna take you to some bomb food.
Yeah. Let's get
I'm
it.
a foodie. One of my biggest things was when I go into a restaurant, I felt like people were watching me.
Yep. Staring at you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Staring at me because of my injury.
Sure.
And my Shay would say, Troy, they're looking at you because just like everybody, you entered. Oh, you know what I mean? When you come in, somebody comes in, they look at them, and it doesn't mean anything more than that.
Sure.
It was my insecurity,
Right.
my mental, right?
Yeah.
And I had to do a lot of work on it.
You know, as I know you don't know that much about me, but I'll bring some context to it, and it'll tie into this. I always say that men and women have different E words. Okay.
Yep.
Men have ego. Women have emotion.
Yes.
If you can find someone that can help you manage the two enough.
Very true.
Right? It's a beautiful thing. And so here you are walking into a restaurant and people are, in your mind, only staring at you. They're like, I don't even know what I'm eating because I'm looking at Troy. It's not even that bad. But I've been.
But I feel that way.
Of course. And I've been in situations like that as well, where I feel like I'm a flying milk, like everyone's just staring at me, and it's uncomfortable. But the ego kind of takes over for us, right? But here you have your fiance who can take her, rational, emotional side and tie it into, to check your ego and check you and help your insecurity. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. Obviously, it's a huge compliment and testament to her. Man. But the other thing that I was gonna say, in a little bit of my background, is where I'm from and who helped raise me. They have egos too, and they're women, right? But the pride is there, and for men, ego and pride are a dangerous thing. And if it's obviously too much of it's going to be bad for not only you, but everyone around you.
Definitely. And
the one thing that I've learned is that as a man, it's hard for me to ask for help. I am more so I got it, I'll do it, I got it. As you walked in here and you saw the whole setup, you're like, damn, you set up all this? I'm like, yeah, I got it, I'll do it, I got it. It's me. It's hard for me to ask for help. And something I learned along the way is just because you have to ask for help, it doesn't mean that you failed. Because that's often in my head. I'm like, I tried, I failed. Now I have to ask for help, right?
Preach.
Just because you have to ask for help, it doesn't mean you failed. It means that you're not alone.
Preach. You need to write this down.
And that's why I was recording. that's why this is going to be the new day job, But tying it into your Shay, I'm sure along this journey that you guys have had now, that to this day is probably a struggle for you, is to asking for help. And here's the difficulty. Yes, it's hard for you to ask for help, but it's hard for her not to help you. It's hard for her not to hear you ask for help, because that's a trust thing. Maybe he doesn't trust that I can do things the way he wants me to do things, right? Let's talk about it.
Man, you're hitting. So, okay. First thing I had to learn.
Yeah.
It's okay to ask for help.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You feel helpless and you're like, I'm defeated.
Yeah.
I'm defeated, right?
Yeah.
I'm not good enough.
Right.
I'm helpless. That's what it means. At least to me, or did. And so let me tell a little story.
Yeah, go ahead.
So imagine proposal. This is the setup was this. We're on a picnic blanket. The picnic basket is on my right, Shay's on my left.
Yeah.
The photographer was going to say, Troy, fix the blanket in the picnic basket.
Yeah.
Which was the code for grab the ring and now it's time. Okay. So again, it's on the other side of me away from Shay.
Yeah.
The photographer says, Troy, fix the picnic basket. Okay, it's go time.
Mm-hmm.
Shay jumps over me. It's like, no, I'll do it. Because she wants to help.
Of course.
No, babe, stop.
No, you're like, babe, no.
Don't touch it. So because she wants to help out.
Sure.
And it's all about finding that balance. It really is.
Yeah.
Man. It's. And I try to simplify it with tying of the shoes.
Mm.
There's some shoelaces that are really too short for me to tie a good knot with.
Sure.
Being that my left hand is my hurt hand, it's still somewhat paralyzed.
Yeah.
But for long laces, I found a way to manipulate it. Right, you figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And so she when I need help, she does it with grace.
Mm.
And I think that's what also gives me comfort to ask help. She doesn't make you feel defeated.
Right.
You know,
she doesn't make you, she doesn't, patronize you or make you feel belittled. You know what I'm saying?
All.
Like, and that says so much about her as a woman, because she knows she's doing this for a man.
Yes.
And as a man, to not be able to tie my shoes, ego, pride,
all of that.
stubbornness, all that we embody,
all
unfortunately, right? Naturally, she has a beautiful way to, no pun intended with the tying of the shoes, but to tie it all together.
No, really, honestly, yeah.
It says so much about her, which is so amazing. Obviously, it's why she's a keeper. Yeah. But that's a struggle for a lot of women. It's like, look, I want and need at this point to help you. Please allow me to.
And you know what, man? Let me tell you, I'm a black man who's injured in life. Right. And usually the black man is the dominant. We rely on our specimen. Yeah. We rely on that to sort of be the strong leader.
Sure.
Right. And so for her to be able to, in those times of need, help me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, let me lead. Not from in front of her, but her being on the side of me, letting me lead.
Sure.
Is why I decided to marry her.
100%.
I couldn't have found a better person to be able to say, okay, I'll help you tie your shoes, but not diminish me as a man, make me feel smaller than.
And that's, it's not easy. I mean, and listen, we'll do this again while both our shades are on, but I would love to hear her side of that story, because, who knows what she was going through mentally to try to find that balance that she just, delivered beautifully, but you don't know what the backstory was. She could have been really struggling with that, for a while.
Yeah. Let me real talk. Add something to that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I told Shay when we got really serious was, this is part of my mental that I needed help with, was like, I didn't think I was ever good enough for a girl, for a woman. Like, who wants to deal with this for their life? That's really what I felt, man.
Sure.
And for her to say no,
that guilt,
right?
Yeah.
Like I know you're gonna have to help me at times, And she was like, like, I love you for who you are. You know what I mean?
She sees past everything else. Wow.
She doesn't even see me as injured, And so, bro, I found one that was strengthened me mentally.
Sure.
To help me strengthen my physical. That's really
Say that again, bro. Man. She helped strengthen your mental, which in turn
strengthened my physical.
Man, that's a wife, man. I'm so happy for you guys. I mean, listen, and you're preaching to the choir.
Right. I know you get it.
I totally understand it. Behind every great man is a great woman.
Great woman.
And that is no more fitting now than ever, in your situation, because I'm sure a lot of people who have similar life experiences as yourself, especially if they're single or newly single. You said you had a girlfriend before, and throughout the process, you guys broke up. But while you're single and trying to date, that's got to be at the forefront every single person. Who wants to deal with this? Because it's baggage that unfortunately you didn't cause. This is not your fault. Of course. But these are your circumstances.
It's what I come with.
It's what you come with. And listen, by no means, and I do not want this to come across as insensitive,
nothing's offensive, bro.
But at no means am I comparing the two situations. But being a father to a daughter, right? And her mom and I are together. When we broke up, oh man, I was 22. So baby having babies. I was 20 when I had my daughter, and I remember dating with my, knowing I had a daughter, and I remember being so scared and hesitant to bring that up. This is before social media, so no one really knew unless I told them. And I remember being so self-conscious about that. And
like, am I going to be judged for this?
Who wants to deal with this? No offense to my daughter, but in the context of just like, it's a lot.
It's extra stuff.
I'm asking you to be with me, but then I'm also, the bigger question is, can you be a stepmother to a daughter that, she's not yours? Nowhere. Exactly. She's a part of me.
Part of me.
And so, tying it back to you again is just, I can only imagine what your thought process was, in dating and just trying to have that confidence, because as a man, that's probably sexier than anything else.
Right, ego.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so you're like, I'm a confident man, but then I have this situation. So I can only imagine, what that was like. But let's talk a little bit again about who Shay is. And I mean, obviously, we sang her praises, but
So I got lucky, man. Shay was a student at the school that I'm at, and we were really just friends first.
Yeah.
Honestly, we were going through breakups together. And look, in my position, I'm the recruitment person. I'm the friendly person. I'm the person who's in front of one of them.
Yeah.
And so Shay and I just became friends. I'm younger. They relate to me. Hey, Trey, can you help me with this? I can tell them the truth, but still be honest and say, hey, we can't.
Sure.
But I can still be nice about it.
Sure.
And so we were both going to breakups and just kind of leaned on one another.
Yeah.
And then it turned into, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
I want to keep this girl around, and she thank God wants to keep me around.
Yeah.
Shay she's an attorney. She's a Iranian woman, Persian woman.
Mm-hmm.
Man, she's a firecracker. I can tell you, Shay is a firecracker. But that's what I needed. I need. Sure. She whips. Man, I can't tell you. I told her, I said, look, I said the one thing that'll break us up is this attitude. Again, this is 5 years ago, so she was younger than firecracker, fire starter.
Sure.
But she's incredible, man.
Yeah.
I honestly, look, I am a lot to deal with. Let injury alone, a lot to deal with, right?
Yeah.
And she does it. I don't even recall, unless I'm talking about her, that I'm injured around her. I really don't. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I ask her, I'm like, babe, do you ever notice that I walk slowly around the house? Not really.
Says so much about her.
Seriously.
I'm sure, as beautiful as that is, I'm sure there's some downs, I'm saying, to the story. And if you can kind of recall, again, we'll get her on so she can speak for herself. But in the meantime, if you can recall, maybe not necessarily just specifically her, but some things where you guys collectively have really struggled with, and individually, right? Like maybe like you talked about, who wants to deal with this, or it's hard for me to ask for help, and et cetera. And then maybe for her, it's, I don't know how much to insert myself. I don't want to be overbearing. I don't want to, enable or baby him. So I'm sure there's some struggles.
So look, the great thing about us is in each of our prior relationships, we learned to be upfront. So we're our communication, I can't lie, is A1.
Sure.
And it's been like that from jump. We're unapologetically honest.
Great.
So, for instance, first date, can I sit on your lap? As in, not can I, but can I?
Yeah, as a question.
An option, right? Is that something I can do?
Right.
And it's kind of been that way from, it's always been the, let me learn about this and let me see and I laughed because the answer is obviously, but that's an honest question.
Sure.
Is your leg okay? Is it going to support me? Is it,
can hold the weight? Yeah.
Right, exactly. Again, the mental aspect has been the hardest, man. The mental, literally.
For you, both of you?
For both of us.
Okay.
I put her through some things that, just in terms of growing, mentally.
Sure.
Not wanting to go places because of the injury,
Sure.
But no, babe, like we can go. You'll be okay. You're with me, And her then feeling insecure, right? Maybe, am I not enough to just be with him?
Right.
And we'll have to talk about her, talk with her about that. But
yeah.
I think that my biggest goal, and I haven't said this, so this is good to say this to you publicly, and I've always kept this to myself, but I'll put it out there now. It's been 12 years. I told myself I'm not going to stop therapy until I can run. Okay. And when you say that 12 years ago, you're not thinking 12 years are going to pass and you're not going to be able to run.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So mentally, I'm in this place where we're in a pandemic. I'm reevaluating. It's time to sit at home and reevaluate life.
Sure.
And do I want to keep that goal? All right. And so I think about the mental anguish I've been through just in the physical side of things the last 12 years.
Yeah.
And would I put myself through another 24 years? Another 12 years.
Sure. 24 total.
Right.
Yeah.
24 total. And that's a mental anguish I'm dealing with right now, man.
Yeah.
It's killing me inside. It really is.
Well, as I beautifully tie this together, I have another quote for you.
Yes,
on that note. And you can let me know who this quote's from, because you know it. When it comes to mindset, right? You're either pulled by passion or driven by fear. Who's that quote by?
It's from my dad. Man, yeah.
You're either pulled by passion or driven by fear.
Yeah, man.
is a quote from your father.
Yeah. That's a good quote.
And when it comes to your mindset, as we talked about, and your mental, which is everything, right? And again, what you believe on the inside, what you think on the inside, eventually you'll achieve on the outside.
For sure.
It's a long road ahead, still is.
Yeah.
But as you live life day by day,
every day at a time.
You know what I mean? 12 years from now, you can't look at it like that.
And you're right. And I love this show. I appreciate, bro. I need you to hit me up more often. That's real talk, though.
Yeah, it is. And but
dang, I didn't think about that.
Listen, this is the reason why, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why I want to do this show is because a lot of things that I give people, whether it's quotes, my own personal experience, and whatever advice I can give, and whatever guest was coming on that can give their own personal experience and advice. It's not rocket science half the time. I can't cure cancer but it's a friendly reminder.
And that's what you need sometimes more than anything.
Exactly. And your TEDx talk, which I watched, for the second time last night, was in 2018. And you had that quote about your dad, so that's how I got it. That's how I wrote it down.
Appreciate it.
And, let today be a friendly reminder.
I appreciate
it. You guys as really newly engaged have a lot more things to worry about, right? Than you running. That. Okay. Right, listen, we're going to celebrate a year in October.
Congratulations.
And, thank you. And I'm fresh from it. I can tell you hands on. It's a long road ahead in its own road. Right.
Yeah.
But, the good news is that you have a great support system.
Yeah.
And I'm sure initially with your accident, your mom may have been at the forefront of that support group as she wrote that beautiful message and that sign behind your bed. And now, as you're about to be married, I know no mom wants to hear this, but that's where the wife comes into play, right? As kind of passing the baton.
Exactly.
Moms, don't kill me, but Shay is going to be now at the forefront, right? And again, that pass the baton moment between your mom and Shay. But I bring up your mom and your dad and you have a brother as well, and again, Shay. That and your friends as well. That support system in life is everything, let alone when you deal with something like this. But you mentioned something that really resonated with me in a good way, but a different way, because I never thought of it from that perspective. So you get injured,
and
it is a serious life-threatening injury and circumstance. And you said something that you said, my support system is as affected as I am. They hurt not physically as much as I do, obviously,
correct,
but emotionally and mentally.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
So, man, you bring up some good points. First, let me say this. In my family, mom, dad, brother, 2 sisters.
Yeah.
Okay. Each of them did their own. Let me shut them out individually. Mom Brown, emotionally support. She's hurting inside. But she can, she's the one that, you want to cry on her shoulder. It will be there to do anything for you.
Yeah.
Put the sign, above your head.
Yeah.
Dad is the one fighting for you, making sure you can have the best therapy, go to the best place.
Yeah.
Make sure as a man, you're going to be good.
Sure.
Your brother's holding you down in terms of just, the little things, making sure he's overlooking everything,
Sure.
My 2 sisters, one of my sisters ran a marathon in my honor.
Wow.
To show strength. And I was like, man, that's great.
Beautiful.
My other sister, she's a surgeon. She made sure the cut in my neck was as small as it could be. So each of them from their different ways.
It's like a starting 5.
And what I say is, I'm the coach.
Wow.
It's how I'm. It's crazy because you're the hurt one.
Yeah.
But how you do is how the team goes.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So like you're saying, although I'm hurt, their mental anguish. But if little things. Hey, Troy, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing great.
Sure.
Okay, they're gonna feel relaxed now.
Yeah.
They
of course
have a sense of
well, they're going off your energy.
Exactly.
And they're going off your vibe and they're going off your mental psyche, and I'm sure as much as it was a struggle for Shay, to know how to insert herself, I'm sure it was the same for your mom. Especially I can only imagine for your mom as a parent, and then I know my mom, would echo these sentiments. We just want to take away all the pain. We want to shield our kids from any type of damage, pain, harm, illness, etc. And this is something that I'm sure she can attest to. That was probably the hardest thing for her. Accepting there's nothing I can physically do for my boy.
She said to me a long time ago, Troy, I wish it was me that got her instead of you.
And not you.
And I said to my mom, I said, look, Mom, I love you, but I'm okay. Like, I can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got this.
Sure.
I was actually glad that if anybody in this family gets her, it's me. You know, the athlete in me
sure,
is like,
of course.
It's physical. I can do this.
I got it.
I got this. You know, obviously, as I've gotten better, she's mentally gotten better and such.
Yeah.
But, you know, initially when I heard, you know, Mom was, everybody's torn inside, but Mom was so protective. And she, again, the coach, right? She's learned. She's probably been the slowest to learn because, you know, it's hard for her to see now the change.
Sure.
But she, you know, I could see, you know, for the first couple of years, the pain in her eyes.
Yeah.
And now she's a lot better, thank God.
Sure.
But and back to the handing off thing. My Shay, and my mom have a great relationship.
That helps.
It's and my Shay is so. My Shay, remember she's my fiance, and I said she's making wife decisions. We're moving because of an injury thing that happened that we won't get on that, but their relationship is so great that it makes it easier for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh man. Yeah. And easier for your mom and easier for, you know, for Shay.
Everybody involved.
Again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to talk about what kind of self-doubt you had during this entire process from the beginning to today.
Yeah.
What it was initially, what it was midway through, and again, what it is today, you know, as far as self-doubt, just kind of insecurities along those lines.
So in the beginning, you know, it's first, can I walk? You know, that's the first
It's
thing.
that little victories.
Little victories.
Yeah.
Man. Like, I gotta get up. Look, I went from an apartment to now living in my parents' home.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Living.
And how old were you, by the way,
I was
when this happened?
27.
Man.
Like 27? 23.
Oh, 23?
24. 12 and a half, 24. I'm 36 now. Yeah,
okay, yeah, 24. Okay.
Yeah. I forgot my age. So,
so you went from living on your own as a 24-year-old man, and now you're
just
living
came back from Morehouse. You know, you fresh
back
to
at
death.
home.
Now you're home. But now, so my parents, 2 stories. You're in the I'm living in the living room in a hospital bed.
Wow.
With a TV. You know what I mean?
That became your bedroom. Your
I can't go
quote unquote privacy.
I can't go nowhere. You know?
Man.
So you're just trying to get up and get moving.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's so much confusion.
Sure.
That you know, am I good enough for anything? You know?
Yeah.
Is anybody gonna come visit me?
Sure.
You know, I had to, you know, at some point you're like, dang, I ain't seen my phone in a minute. It's been 8-9 weeks and I haven't seen my phone. Let me give it my cell phone. Let me start texting some people. I'm okay.
Sure.
You know? So that was the that doubt of, is this actually gonna work? Is, you know, my therapist at the time, Taylor Isaac, said to me, he came to my house. He says something that rocked my world. He said, with your injury, you have a 1 in a million chance of walking again.
Wow.
Focus on the 1, not the million. And that's where it went. That's where that's what I try to keep at this for.
Yeah.
Focusing on that one. You know?
Yeah. Totally. And that applies to life. We all have 1 in a million chances to do a lot of things or not do a lot of things.
Exactly.
But another quote from John C. Maxwell.
Yeah.
Life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change.
By doing, you got to do.
And you have to decide to want to make that change to be the one of the 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, whatever it is.
Somebody's got to be that one.
Someone's got to be that one. I can only imagine at a certain point in your recovery, in your rehab, in your therapy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you answer, and I'll pose the question.
Yeah.
When or if during your process were you like, I want to be that one that motivates people. I want to be that one that stands on stage and inspires people. I want to be that one that the one other person that wants to be me has some type of role model.
As soon as I prayed it in the hospital.
As soon as you
prayed it in the hospital.
Oh,
I said, God, just let me do this and I'll inspire. That day, man, that moment, I can't tell you. I remember feeling like I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna let this be the where it all ends, so to speak. You know, where life just shuts down. You know?
Yeah.
And so I got to working, man.
You know, it's obviously a huge inspiration, and 12 years later, you can talk about it now. Yeah. We can laugh about it. You know, you can channel all the emotions. You know, because it's been such a long road ahead. But what would you say if someone going through what you went through or similar, and maybe not just physically, maybe mentally, you know, basically when the shit hit the fan moment in their life, what would you say would be the best advice you would give to them mentally?
It's interesting you asked me this because I don't know if we talked about this, but I want to do consulting work, and I'm actually going to. So I'm starting that.
Okay.
My website's going to be up soon. And I want to talk about that with people. But the thing mentally, I would say, you know, the sort of first piece of advice I would give is remember what drives you. You know what I mean? Because every day is not going to be easy.
Right.
But if you remember what drives you, that'll be the little bit of pick me up that you need. Yeah. So, you know, mentally you got to hone in on something. Yeah. Find one thing that you like, whether it be family, friends, kids,
personal pet, goals, whatever. Yeah.
And just lock in.
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
But see, that's again, it's back to the mindset, right? I mean, the more you can master that, the better. And how I've, you know, on a day-to-day basis, right? Because it's always a process. Every single day, I set intentions. I have affirmations I repeat to myself. I have mantras I repeat to myself. I read my goals out loud to myself first and foremost. And then after that, I read my goals to myself as if they're already mine. This is all a part of self-love. And this is another big reason why I wanted to have this show is I wanted people to tell their stories and their experiences through vulnerability, adversity, and self-love. Yeah. And as a man and as a fellow man, that is one thing we don't often do. Now that's a generational thing, right? It's a lineage thing, like our fathers and their fathers and so on and so forth. Self-love for a man, they're like, what kind of conversation is that,
what are you
right?
Talking about?
But here we are in 2020, and a lot of people are like, you know, Justin or Troy, how did you guys get to be the men that you are today? And one of the things I always hone in on is I say, hey, self-awareness, first and foremost.
Definitely.
Which is it's just something you cannot underestimate. But also self-love.
Yeah.
What does self-love mean to you?
It means really focusing on what you need. Yeah. You know? And I also think that we haven't learned this because we're so focused on everybody else oftentimes. Yeah. That we don't take the second. Like you're saying, you know, you're second in the morning to repeat your goals. Yeah. Like, what do you really want? Yeah. And I think that what I learned again mentally, when you figure that out and when you learn that and when you start to do those things, everybody else becomes happy with you. Right. Because then you can give to what you need once you find yourself.
I always tell people, self-love isn't selfish. No. It's important. It's necessary. It's essential because the more I love myself, the more my wife, my daughter, my family, my friends, my loved ones benefit. The more my coworkers benefit. The more anyone that comes into my space will benefit because I've done the work for myself and for you.
You're really working for them, really.
Exactly. And a lot of people who are so selfless, it's like the sooner you can channel the selfless to selfish and in a beautiful way, again, you know, selfishness, when happiness begins when selfishness ends. Yep. Friendly reminder, you know, and here we are saying it again, but it's so important for people to really, truly know what works for you, what drives you, what is your passion that's going to pull you, right? Yes. And again, back to your dad's quote. And obviously it's an important, you know, piece to your life. Let me ask you this from a relationship standpoint, because obviously it's a big part of your life. How has self-love and self-awareness helped you in your relationship?
You know, that's funny. That's a good question. it's at the forefront, actually.
It has to be.
It's at the
It
forefront.
has to be.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Because that us being able, and we communicate that, hey, I need this.
So
hey,
important.
I don't need this. And that's what it enables us to connect.
Sure.
So, it's funny you say that, because I say this to people. I say, look, if you and I are together, me and Shay.
Yeah.
Hey, Shay, you know what? Shay says to me, hey, Troy, you know what, babe? I want my feet rubbed once a week. Every Wednesday, I like my feet rubbed, right?
Sure.
That sounds selfish. It does. But guess what? If I do it and she's happy, we're happy.
Guess who's going to reap the benefits?
Right.
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
it's at the forefront. But I think that people are just scared to talk about that.
Yeah.
Well,
because it comes off as selfish.
Exactly.
And that's why no one wants to be a quote unquote, stable, stereotyped or labeled as a selfish person.
Yeah.
But again, it's so important to know what you need, what you want, what's going to work for you. In turn, what is going to work in your relationship, But again, that's a lot of that, whether it's knowing you like your feet rubbed in Shay, a lot of it is whether I know I need football Sundays to myself.
Exactly.
Whatever the situation is, I promise you it will benefit you.
Exactly.
Because every now and then you need to recharge.
You need your day.
And you got
your time.
Your time. You got to reset. It's gonna come, but you need that time to let it all in.
I think people just aren't honest about it. I think that sometimes others are offended if your girl says, "Hey, I need girls' night to have fun."
Sure.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, totally.
Enjoy
totally.
that.
Go do that.
Please do.
Well, and two, to tie it in, is like, I just want Shay to be happy.
Exactly.
So if that's what makes you happy, great. And then the bonus of that, not that this was my initial intention, but the bonus is I reap the benefits.
I'm gonna be happy too,
because you're gonna come home in a better mood.
Exactly.
You got the heart. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. You've been gone for a couple hours. This is great.
Great.
Especially during a time of quarantine.
Especially during quarantine.
But yeah, it's so important, and I really hope people prioritize it. Like you said, some people are afraid to ask for it, and I think the other piece of it is, a lot of people don't know what that looks like for them. It's trial and error, right? But once you figure it out, don't be afraid to use that voice and speak up and say, "Hey, this is what I need. I'm sorry. This is a hard line for me. This is I'm not asking you, I'm telling you situation.
This is my thing.
This is it."
Right.
I hope you can understand, and the right ones do, as obviously we have those two right ones.
Thank God.
So moving on, I want to, and we'll wrap up your injury. One of the things that really impressed me, seeing you at the gym, seeing your TEDx talk and some other talks and shows you've been on, and just getting to know you in the time, you never give up. You personally have never given up. So for example, like I'll go to the gym, right? And you're already there. And I'm like, I better be here because I have no excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like, for someone like you who it takes a lot to be there.
Yeah.
You have every excuse
not to be.
You could hit that I give up button, as we've talked about. But you never did. You constantly made that choice, which I know will be an inspiration to a lot of people. Walk me through kind of your mindset as to why you've never given up, why you still set goals, why you will not settle.
Yeah. I think that it's all about thinking that your purpose is bigger than your moment, right? Our purpose is bigger than just the moment we're in. So even sitting here, us talking, you're doing this show because there's going to be a kid now, a couple years from now, who hears this like, yo, he made it. You know what I mean? He did it. He started and he did it himself. Me on this show, there's going to be somebody who's injured of some kind.
Sure.
Who's like, man, his story is relating to me. Yeah. And I think that, so I really think about the purpose not being what I'm stuck in the moment. Right. And then B, again, it's an all or nothing proposition to me. Yeah. I either get up and go. Yeah. And really go. Yeah. Or don't go at all. Because in something like this, you can't half step because you're only going to get half results. No. And you also can't rely like on talent or just natural ability, right? No. It all will harness back to the power of your mind and what you tell yourself and what you believe in. So to those people out there, like, you have to put the work in. You have to decide to make the change. And this is for people even it's funny. Shay had a girlfriend over the other day. and the girlfriend was talking about her wanting to change jobs.
Okay.
And, they're having their girl talking emotional, right? Nice.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, look, can I just say one thing? I said, I'm going to say this thing and I'm going to get back to my work. I said, if you want to do something, if you want to do A, you have to be willing to put in the work.
Sure.
Whether the work is networking, whether the work is education, you've got to put some work. It's not just not going to, nothing comes to people. I think people make it look easy, whether it's sports, entertainment, that's not the headline, teaching, whatever it is.
Well, anything in life worth having, right?
Ain't easy.
It's not easy. You got to put the work in.
Ain't easy.
As we kind of start to say our takeaways from all that we've talked about, I think the obvious first takeaway should be never take anything for granted.
Ever. It will be gone like that.
Another thing I got from your TEDx talk was how many of us reflect on the moments lost. I want you to elaborate on that, because we are so set on focusing on the past and what I could have done, what I should have done. If I only knew then what I know now, etc. We're so fixated on the past and trying to correct it or rectify it for the future, instead of living in the present and preparing for the future. Not too far future, but preparing for it. But
man, you're bringing it. I forgot about that quote. First of all, that quote is great, and I really talked about that because focusing on moments. I actually, when I said it, I don't think I explained it as well as I would have liked to.
Okay.
I think that you do have to, focusing on moments lost is okay. I think it's how you change after that.
Okay.
Right. So, for instance, when I was in junior high school, if I didn't make the basketball team, right? Focusing on, okay, I didn't make the team, but let me make sure that never happens again.
Sure.
So let me put in the work.
Yeah. And let me take those lessons that I learned, put in the work.
Exactly. And then hopefully your outcome is better.
Right.
It should be. If you put in the work, it's going to be better.
Yeah.
And so, this goes from everything to, again, major injuries like mine.
Sure.
Weight loss. Everybody wants to say, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds, but are you putting in the work? Are you getting up? Are you
right,
et cetera,
right.
Education, schooling.
Yeah.
So it's just application.
Sure.
Application.
Yeah.
Which is
consistent application.
Application.
It's one thing to do something once or one day or one week, right? But it's consistency.
And it goes back to that mental.
Yeah, exactly. When I met my Shay, I told her, I said, essentially, I'm like under construction right now. I'm like a work in progress as a future boyfriend, fiance, husband. I said, but the goal is I want my actions to speak so loud, you don't even hear my words.
Bet.
How many people just talk a good game,
Bet.
but they don't deliver?
Bet.
I said, I want my actions to be so memorable and impactful that you forgot what I was even saying. That means I won. Okay. That means I'm doing my job right.
More than anything you could say.
Anything else. But the only way I'm going to be able to do it is if I apply that same mentality, mindset, effort consistently enough. Another thing I want to leave people, but per my decision to be a better man, your decision to be a better man as well, but not just mentally, but physically. I want people to know who are a control person. I'm getting better, but I have, this control bone in my body that I'm trying to fine tune, but life doesn't always go according to plan.
Right.
Per your circumstances at 24 years old, who knew?
Who knew?
And no pun intended, but one step in one direction will ultimately change your entire destination.
Everything.
You were walking, that's why I said no pun intended, with your step.
Yeah.
Get hit by a car.
Yeah.
And your entire destination changes for the rest of your life. But today, and the days that were up until today of 12 years, you continue to take the correct steps down a certain path, which ultimately is leading you down not just your correct destination, but what I purposely think is your purpose in life and why you're here. And like you said, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than what you could have ever imagined.
For sure.
And as long as you continue to take those steps down that path, Don't worry about if you're going to walk down it, ride a bike down it, ride a bird scooter down it, drive down it.
Right.
Just head down that path consistently, because it'll take care of itself. But you got to be open to the messages along the way, and into the, maybe sometimes the reroute. Man. Like you said, you wanted to run. You wanted to run. And you're like, who knew 12 years from now I still can't run? But it's okay. Man,
let me tell you something really quickly. You hit the nail on the head, okay? It's like I would like to talk about every day having that motivation, that purpose, right? Knowing that your purpose is bigger than the moment. Yeah. Right. And I actually, a friend of mine, I'm not gonna say their name, but somebody who takes really good care of me. Sure. Called me 2 weeks ago and said she had cancer. Wow. Okay. She takes care of me. Yeah. Yeah. I was just thinking that. Yeah. Right. And so she obviously is going through her it's her time, right? Sure. It's her time. She's now the one dealing with it. And I said to her literally today, she had something happened where her surgery got moved. Yeah. And I said to her, look, don't let change mean that it's bad. Because in the moment she's like, oh, I need the surgery now. No. That week of change could be the plan that you need for whatever's going to happen. Right. I think we get so focused on now that it's happened or whatever, my time, sure. My control, right? That you are unable to step back and say, wait, there's something bigger than me. Yeah. And this is my purpose. Yeah. And I actually don't like pushing myself to do stuff like this. I normally, I won't chase it. Okay. If it comes to you, I'll take it. Sure. I won't chase it. Because I just feel like my purpose, that's whatever, it'll come to me when it should. When the person needs to hear it, it'll come to me. Yeah. And so when you like, dude, I'm humbled to be here. I'm humbled to be able to be in front of you and to discuss and the one person, the 10,000 people, the 10 million that hear it, if they can take away one thing from this man to apply for their life, that's all you can ask for. Yeah. I told you earlier, one of my self-love, self-care routines in the morning is affirmations and intentions and mantras. One of my mantras is the opportunities and people that are meant for me will present themselves in a clear, obvious way. You were presented to me in a very clear and obvious way. And I feel the same from my side, right? Exactly. So be careful. That law of attraction is a real thing. So we got a couple more things, and then we'll wrap this up. I want to give one more quote to everyone, and I really thought this was applicable to this episode. It says, "Personal breakthroughs begin with a change in your beliefs, because your beliefs determine your expectations, and your expectations determine your actions." How many times, because we've mismanaged our expectations, are we disappointed? Manage expectations so that instead of being disappointed, you're pleasantly surprised. And that's actually advice for you when it comes to the running department. Manage expectations so that you're pleasantly surprised as opposed to constantly disappointed year after year. I appreciate that. Right? Seriously. So let's get into the fun part of the episode. This is I've had fun the entire time. Oh no, me too, for sure. But on, like a totally lighter note, this is cool. Let's do it. These are the round of rapid fire questions. Right. There's 5 questions. I always prep the audience. I prep the guest. You have no idea what's coming. You didn't know what was coming for this whole episode because you didn't want to be prepped. And it's turned out beautifully, and I'm sure this will too. Again, so 5 questions. Let's do it. Coming your way. First question is, who is or was your role model? My father. My father, my dad grew up in South Central, man. Yeah. Grew up in South Central. Dad left, raised his brothers and sisters. He got into UCLA Law School when that didn't exist. He was with a whole handful of other, young black people that got into UCLA Law. Yeah. And he's built himself, man. Yeah. Fortunate enough to where my family owns a university. Again, that's not to diminish anybody else, but done a great job, and he's so,
Yeah.
You'll meet my dad. He's so still himself. He's not,
Sure.
The
He hasn't
shine
changed.
hasn't
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
He's true to who he is.
Sure.
A person that's just rock solid. You're what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
No matter the accolades, the stuff.
Yeah.
The president title, whatever. It
Sure,
is. He
sure.
doesn't care about that.
It's a beautiful thing, man, especially for
Yeah.
one black man to another.
Definitely.
Who, as Drake so eloquently put it, boo-hoo, sad story, black American dad story. Lucky for you, brother, you don't have that. So kudos to you.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so question number 2. What does your dream life look like?
That's easy. I'm happy with my family. Happy and healthy.
Yeah.
I don't. Would it be nice to have a big house? Sure, but is it necessary? Not if I'd rather happiness than be in a big house.
Sure.
And
Sure.
so
Yep.
Shay and I build on that every day. Just about being happy.
Sure. Look, man, you can buy the biggest house you want and you can furnish it to the T.
Right.
But what you can't put in there, unless it's already there, is happiness.
Happiness.
Cool. So question number 3. What's the best advice you've ever received? And then 2-part, actually. Second part is, what's the best advice you'd give to someone? Which you kind of answered, but maybe you want to add something else. So first is, again, what's the best advice you've ever received?
So I'm going to say, and I haven't talked about this yet, my grandfather passed away recently. He said to me when I was younger, he said, it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
which is very fitting.
Right.
For you.
Right.
Yep.
And so, that and the, push by passion, pull by fear.
Yeah.
I mean, opposite way around.
Yeah. Pull by passion, push by fear.
Right. Opposite way around. The best advice, just honestly, one thing that I haven't talked about, we talked about, but not straightforward, like I'm going to say right. I would tell people to focus on their mental.
Yeah.
Focus on, like, it's okay to focus on your mental.
Yeah.
And, this whole mental health is really big right now.
Yeah. Thankfully.
And I don't think it necessarily means, having ADHD or all of these things, but it just means focusing on who you are.
Whatever that means to you.
And really just finding your happiness.
Yeah. Question number 4.
Yeah.
What do you want to be known for when you leave this earth?
Oh.
So think legacy.
Yeah. I just want to be remembered for inspiring. That's I just want to have something that I don't want a big statue. I don't want that type of legacy. I want this legacy where it's passed down.
It lives on.
It lives on, and a great quote or a great, hey, look at this, or hey, something like that.
Yeah, I love it.
That's what I want.
Yeah, it's actually more or less what for me as well. Last question.
Yeah.
What does Troy admire most about Troy?
Ooh. I think I'm a really good-hearted person. I think I'm people person first, people pleaser actually.
Okay.
And that's why, when you talk about
self-love,
I really had to learn it.
It's a struggle.
Right. It is. And again, because of Shay, I did.
Yeah.
But I am I'm genuine. The person you see is the person you're going to get.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that I have that character.
Yeah. And I can attest to that.
I appreciate
for
that.
Sure. So, 2 more things.
Yeah.
What's next for you? What's going on? What do you got? What do you got brewing?
Okay.
What are you working
so, podcast. You're the podcast website.
Yeah.
I was talking to my brother and my dad actually. So remember my TED Talk? I talk about golfing.
Yes. Yep.
My dad called me 2 or 3 weeks ago, and again, everybody's learning. Still, look, I'm 12 years, but they're still learning.
Sure.
Hey, Troy, I'd like you to come out on the golf course with me and your brother.
Mm-hmm.
I know you can't hit, but just ride in the cart. Just be a part of it.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah.
And we were talking, and my brother said, hey, Troy, I think you have a lot of experience that you can share with others. Sometimes, people aren't always comfortable with the therapist, the doctorate, the person who's going to be analyzing them.
Sure.
So why not come from a perspective of, friend, coach, something
just more personable.
Exactly.
Yeah. And more intimate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think I actually, when you said that, I was like, that's what I'm doing anyway. Why not just offer it on a bigger scale?
Yeah.
that's really what I'm excited about. I'm still in law school, so law school just started, man.
Yeah. It's a whole nother episode.
Right, that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, man, getting ready to get married.
I was gonna say the wedding.
Getting ready to get married, man.
Yeah.
So I gotta. I hope our fiance or my fiance and your wife are talking about she wants to do destination.
Yeah.
Which I'm open to.
Hey,
right. So
yeah,
I'm excited about it.
Well, we're definitely here for the wedding talk.
We're
here for anything else. Obviously, both of you guys need. As I'm looking forward to years to come. Of a good friendship.
Definitely.
It's interesting because, you said, your brother hit you with, I think you should be doing this. You're like, well, I'm already kind of doing that. That's how this came about, man.
I was going to ask you.
Let me just tell you, that's how, I've never even talked about this in the show, but that's how this came about.
Yeah.
I am usually the person people come to for advice, whether it's friends or family. And, but I am also, let me just throw this caveat out there. I'm also the financial advisor who's great at his job, but filed bankruptcy 27 times, right?
That's me
I'm
too.
great at giving advice, but I can't take my own. But that's what makes us really good at that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it came about. I would always help my friends out and as best as I could from personal experiences. And then, as I got older, I'm a people person myself, and I started to build a really good community around me. And I really, loved getting to know each individual on a personal level individually. And I was like, I can try to marry the two of my people skills, comfortability in front of the camera,
right?
Of 15 years of modeling.
I don't even feel like we were in the front of the camera.
Exactly.
Like we're on the couch.
That means I did my job well.
Yeah.
And, taking my community and their stories and putting mine with theirs and hopefully inspiring people.
Yeah.
So, hey man, listen, it's who said this? Drake again said, I thought it and I achieved it.
Yeah.
You guys think it, you and your brother, you will achieve it. And you're already down that road, obviously, as well. So the last and final segment of this entire amazing
Man, I'm sad this is ending
episode.
so quick.
Yeah, no, right? And I always do this with my guests because, again, as I talked about earlier, every now and then it's nice to have a friendly reminder, right? But every now and then it's nice to remember how far you've come in life, especially for you and your journey and where you are today. So I call this the acknowledging my guest segment of the show. So allow me to acknowledge you for a sec, man. First and foremost, I admire and respect the hell out of your perseverance. I don't know what it's like to be in your shoes, but I know with my own personal battles, which I've given up on a lot of times, I'm pretty sure initially I probably would have gave up. If I was in your shoes in that hospital bed in a coma and I wake up and I get hit with all this news, you're never gonna be able to walk again. And I'm thinking, just long term, as I'm sure it flashed, before your eyes, I would probably give up. So the fact that your perseverance and your mental grit and strength is what it is something that I'll always remember.
Thanks, man.
I'm honored to know you,
Thank you,
and to hear your story, especially at the personal level, that I do now. But if I can also add too, it's your drive, man. Again, it's that will to just never give up. It's that determination to set new goals, accomplish them, celebrate for a second, and then keep it moving, right? And then again, your strength, both mentally and physically. The physical thing. Listen, the physical thing doesn't work unless the mental thing does. Okay, first and foremost. So the mental, I know we keep repeating it, but for everyone watching, that's how important this is.
It's so real. It's so real. It's so real.
Yeah, that's why we keep honing in on it.
Got to.
So again, man, I want to.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for being the inspiration that you are.
Thank you, man.
That I know you'll continue to be. I wanna thank you for being you. You said something about your dad that you said, all the accolades, all the money, all the success, all the titles he could probably have, it never changed him.
Never changed.
To be who you are and to have the heart that you said you admire the most about yourself, to have the heart that you have, and just the genuineness that you embody is a beautiful thing. We need more like you.
I feel the same way, by the way, man. It's so refreshing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. So thank you for doing this. You're going to help out a ton of people, which is the whole goal and purpose of this entire show.
This has been fun, man.
Good.
I love this.
Good, man. I'm well, again, you're the 9th episode. I've gotten a lot better. but yeah, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate the time. I appreciate your story. I appreciate you sharing your story. And I'm looking forward to more episodes to come. Again, we'll get the shades on.
Man, that'll be an interesting episode.
Yeah.
Look, this is my official, I want to say thank you for having me to share this story.
Yeah.
But more just to grow our friendship, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I really feel a bond here.
Yeah.
We got to do dinner. I'm a foodie, as I said. But, I think you're doing this and showing that my biggest thing is like, it's possible. Again, as we spoke about. And I know you as the host don't feel so, but you're a testament to showing people it's possible.
Thank you.
And so to see you putting your mind, look, you took something where you're kind of doing this, again, not for free, like you're getting paid, but you're doing it and you're showing your talent with it. And that's amazing to see the transition. I think that,
thank you.
You're not stopping at one thing, but being multifaceted.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is good.
I appreciate it, man.
It was well thought out. It was well,
Thank you very much.
Man, this is a great to be a part of. Seriously.
Well, look, again, it's this is bigger than me, as we talked about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's God's plan. It's divine timing. It's putting that consistent action. People, believe it or not, I am a man who opens up a lot of doors and walks in a third of them because I have so many ideas and I want to do things.
Sure.
This door, as soon as I opened it, it pulled me and my passion.
There you go.
It's a great way to end it. With a force that I can't even deny it. I can't even stop it if I wanted to. I truly feel that way. So again, man, there's going to be more to come, and I'm glad you're a part of it from the beginning because that's going to be memorable.
Thank
so
you.
I appreciate you,
I'm
man.
excited to see this in the years to come. Like, man, I was on that show. Now it's blown down. Remember, kid, I was on.
For sure.
With Uncle Justin, I was on.
Absolutely. So I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Woo! Good.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, man. Thank you.